Okay, Secretary LIamas, pag-usapan natin, mahalaga ito, no? Mamaya na, dumating si Robin Hood dyan sa one of my favorite thinker is Max Weber, and one of the greatest ideas of Max analysis of
my favorite sociologist.
Sabi niya, one of the things that charismatic leaders in modern era can do is to embed their charisma into institutions. No, that's how you build strong states. So you can start a charismatic leader like Peter the Great, and the next thing you build a strong Russian power. No, unfortunately, in other countries it's either or. Diba? You put a Trump there, wawasakin yung State Department, huminang US. But actually, you can institutionalize charisma. In the same sense, para sa akin, you can have great ideas about West Philippine Sea, great moments of excitement, parang pag nanalong Gilas Pilipinas, gumagalan si Bato, all of that. But you need to institutionalize that para malakas ang Gilas over time. In the same way, in political advocacy, especially to West Philippine Sea, because this is not going to go away, unfortunately. Well, you cannot choose your neighbors, right? They're going to be there, and they could become even more neighbors if they invade Taiwan, God forbid. So this is going to be a long fight. That's why attrition warfare ito, marathon ito in many ways. So you really need long-term organization. Hindi, in short, I know many are going to hate me, and in a way I'm going to hate myself, but you cannot hashtag this. You cannot tweet this. This cannot be tweeted. This has to be organized underground, real time. So Ronald, let's talk about this, because this is really important, and this is, I think, something that is the animating force of your life, and one of the reasons I really respect you a lot, because it's one thing for you and I to sit down and have very interesting intellectual discussion. That's fantastic. One reason I respect you a lot, and a lot of other people, of course, si Lodi Walden, among others, is the commitment to on-the-ground organization. It's still another thing. You go on the ground, warm bodies there. You really put your body as your vote, no, for certain issues. Let's talk about this, Ronald. What is political organization? Why is it important? And why you cannot hashtag, tweet, X, whatever, West Philippine Sea protection and Philippine patriotism?
Yeah. Ako Richard, I'm a Neanderthal. No, I rarely use the computer. I rarely use email. Kaya ako, yung bahay ko punong-puno ng libro. Dahil yung mga regalo sa akin na Kindle, pinamimigay ko eh. No, ang gusto ko pa rin talaga, the smell, the touch of an old book. No? Yun yung gusto ko. Pero yun nga yung kaya wala akong Twitter, wala akong Facebook, hindi ko ina-advise na gayahin yan. No? Dahil yung technology na ngayon na available sa atin, yung virtual world na yan, ay pwedeng gamitin. Wag lang nating iwanan sa forces of reaction to weaponize that. Kailangan gamitin din natin, no? Pero I'm too old for that no? Iba na yung gagawa niyan, yung mga generation niya na, no? Pero ako, ang tingin ko, both of them can coexist no? Parang bibingka yan no? Kailangan niluluto mo sa taas nitong bagong technology ng social media, no? TikTok, etc. Pero sa ilalim, kailangan pa rin talaga yung solid organizing. Itong social media, pwede itong sweeping no? Ginigising niya ng tao no? Pinupukaw yung mga tao no? Pero ang magkakatalyze niyan ay solid organizing. You have to, yung mga nagising, yung mga affected ng social media, yung biglang merong moment sa TikTok na ay, ganito pala ang problema. Ay, ganito pala yung pwedeng gawin. Kailangan mo pa rin niyang ilagay sa mga organizations. Kailangan mo pa rin niyang ilagay sa mga movements. Kailangan mo pa rin sila ng sustained mentorship. No? Kailangan mo ng sustained mentorship. Yun yung sabi ko doon sa mga ka-generation ko No? At best, we have 10 years na productive lives. So gamitin natin yung 10 years para yung ating skills, yung ating experiences, yung ating lessons, no? Yung meaning na nakuha natin sa ating experiences, may bahagi natin sa next generation na hindi naman tayo parang source of knowledge. No? Kaya nga mas gusto ko yung system ng mentorship or ng study circle. Hindi ka monopoly of knowledge. Para nag-share ka together with them experiences. Pero marami tayong isi-share. No? Halimbawa, coalition work. No? Ang dami kong karanasan sa coalition work pero wala akong naisulat. At wala rin ako nabasa na nakasulat about coalition work. Tungkol doon sa Labor Advisory Consultative Council where all the labor groups, for the first time in history, magkakasama noong 87 to 89. no? Yung Congress for the People's Agrarian Reform, where all peasant organizations magkakasama. Yung National Movement for Civil Liberties, no? Na lahat ng political blocs magkakasama as never before. Yung Freedom from Debt Coalition, no? Na nagsama-sama lahat on an economic agenda. Yan yung mga, ang daming magagandang lessons dyan, pero wala nang nakasulat. No? Paano sila nag-thrive at paano sila nawala? Ano yung mga kailangan nating lessons? Yan yung gusto kong yung my generation ay i-organize not into teach-ins, not into prefabricated curriculum, pero mas interactive na mentorship. No? Yan yung while others are using social media, while others are using TikTok, ChatGPT, etc. Yung iba, kami, ito yung assignment namin. No? Kaya nga 2 days ago kasama ko yung mga mangingisda no? Old school. Pinag-usapan namin yung harassment sa kanila ng 2 hours, no? Hindi yung kaya ng TikTok, di ba? Hindi yung kaya ng TikTok. Maganda ang TikTok, a few seconds, at most 1 minute. Pero kailangan mo pa rin talagang tanungin yung tiga Baho Masinloc, what's happening? Tanungin yung tiga Palawan, what's happening? Kailangan interactive. So kailangan mo pa rin, yung pinag-uusapan natin ngayon, na solid organizing on the ground. No? Yun yung kailangan natin.
We go to this in kind of a more pedagogical way. Are you thinking about writing at least kind of a memoir-ish? And kasi maganda sana, Ronald, no? Parang case studies. Like, ito yung mga golden era of organization and coalition. What were the conditions that allow it? What are the conditions that may be replicated? You know, yung mga ganun, like case studies lang, kahit short lang, ganun. I was thinking, it's a very important project. For some reason, I didn't come across anything like that. Of course, I'm not a sociologist by training. I'm more political science, international relations, economics. But I'm just thinking, oh man, it's very important because I've read a lot about Latin America. I've read a lot.
Me too.
Di ba iniisip ko yung Pilipinas? Ay, ano, parang wala akong masyadong nabasa about the sociology of or I mean, of course, Teresa Tadem, among others, have written amazing stuff on, you know, social movements, etc. Pero yun nga, parang case studies, especially from someone like you, Ronald, who is a praxis guy, diba? Now, you're articulate, you got the intellectual, but you're a praxis guy. You were there, flesh and blood. You know, you press flesh, you talk to these people. Kung sana nga, we can have like yung bite-size, kind of like textbookish, pero very short, no? Brief yung case studies, lessons to be learned. Maganda sana yan. Kasi feeling ko, to be fair to the new generation, yun na, all they say is, oh, Barack Obama became Barack Obama because he was so good online. Or, eto, ngayon, kasi puro ganun na exposure nila And in the Philippines, no offense to them, but, you know, Rappler, their whole narrative is, everything is about social media, disinformation ang dahilan. So I cannot blame the new generation because yun lang yung level of exposure nila, nothing much deeper to really analyze big changes, fundamental changes. These are tectonic shifts. It's not gonna come like you cannot tweet it. I know this very well, Ronald, because my first book was actually on the Arab uprisings, you know, well before I get into that. And in that book, this is 10 years ago I wrote about it. Doon pa lang sinabi ko, Twitter counter-revolution, yun ang term ko, na how reactionary forces will use social media against the very revolutions that supposedly came out of digital platforms like, you know, Egyptian revolution, ganun. And the next 10 years, I'm just being proven right and left. We have not produced a single successful revolution in the 21st century. With all the hype about internet, activism, and all of that, nada. At least, yung panahon niyo, Ronald, ang dami mga successful revolutions na nangyari. 80s pa lang, di ba? Ang dami nangyaring successful revolution. Before that, 70s, 1920s, multiple Russian revolution, Chinese revolution. So something is really lacking. So for me, that's it. But so are you looking at something? Are you open to something like that? I mean, in my own little ways, maybe, you know, we put our powers together.
Kasi, Exactly, Richard. Kung may tutulong, why not? No, a couple of months ago, sinimulan namin ni Father Edicio de la Torre, no, who just turned 80, no? Tapos ang rich ng kanyang experience, no? Ang ganda ng kanyang very articulate din siya, very ideological and political, no? So, nakapasok din siya sa gobyerno as head of TESDA, no? May karanasan siya inside and outside of government, no? Naging rebelde siya, nahuli siya, nakulong siya, no? So, ang ganda ng kanyang experiences, pero walang nakasulat. So ang sabi ko sa kanya, i-organize ko yung mentorship mo with our Akbayan youth, with our leaders. So, kwentuhan sila, no? Nagkaroon sila ng 2 sessions, no, about that. So, yun yung nakikita ko, no? Pero somebody, tama yung sabi mo, somebody has to write it, no? Ito yung experience, ito yung exchanges, ito yung interaction, no? Pero somebody has to write it, no? Yun yung baka hindi lang ako dahil kung isusulat kasi yung aking experiences, baka punong-puno ng sex and violence, no? Baka New York Times bestseller, no?
Okay. Ronald, wait lang. Wag natin sirayan yung movement, okay? Hindi dapat political neutral, carbon footprint neutral, carbon zero, lahat yung mga ganun. All that.
Ano, ang mga bestseller kasi yung mga rated R eh, di ba? Yung yung mga boring stuff, no? Medyo hindi pan eh. Kaya hindi ko sinasabi na ganun yung buhay ko, no? Wala ko sinasabing ganun.
I'm like something like anecdotal and then big parang theory and parang drama and but something short, not like again dialectics.
Yung isang immediate na gusto ko sanang maisulat, Richard, ako journalism ang kinuha ko eh, no? Editor ako ng Varsitaria, ng The Flame, lahat ng mga dyaryo sa UST, ako yung editor eh, no? Pero after graduation, we fought the dictatorship, no? At tumigil na ako magsulat. Pero gusto kong ma-revive yan, o at least meron tumulong sa akin, kaya nga may column ako ngayon sa Abante, no? Yung Yari Ka, column ko. So pero kung meron tutulong, ang isang gusto ko sana, yung leftist perspective, yung leftist lessons na pumasok sa gobyerno at naging cabinet secretary in the dark corridors of power. Gusto kong makita yung karanasan ko sa labas at yung karanasan ko sa loob. Ano yung dialectics niya? Ano yung dialectics niya? But I need a good writer, no? Na like Gramsci, no? Alam yung nauunawaan yung war of motion and war of position. No?
Ronald, ikaw okay. O sabi ng isang suggestion nila, gawin na lang natin R&R rated, hindi R-rated.
Yeah, pwede. Pwede. Para ako naman, no?
Ganda ka. Nga mahirap na ma-vice dyan.
Kaso pag kasama yung Richard Haydarian, baka X-rated na yon, no? Hindi na R-rated, no?
Ano?
Mas exciting yung buhay ng Richard Haydarian eh. Kumpara sa kanya, boring yung buhay ko eh. Kaya tingin ko hindi na rated R yan. X-rated na.
Viva Max nga daw, Viva Max sabi niyo. Now let's do the ABCD. Just a little bit of pedagogical thing. At the top of your mind, Ronald, no? Like if you were to give a master class, no, to a bunch of people are saying, okay, fine, okay, I get it. Okay, maganda yung R&R rated nyo. Okay na yan. Napanood ko na yung nyo, Viva Max nyo ni R&R. So ang ngayon, what are like the 3 or 5 key elements of organization? What are the things to keep in mind, top of your mind? Anong mga papasok?
Well, napag-usapan natin ng konti yan sa isang episode mo eh. Una, summation. No? You have to start sa summation eh. What happened, no? Let 100 flowers bloom, pero ngayon natitirang flowers 3, 4, no? So what happened, no? Nung panahon na, ano yung lesson sa iba't ibang forms of struggle? Huwag lang isa. No? Ano yung lesson? Ang ganda ng ating NGO movement eh. 'Di ba noong 80s? Thousands of NGOs. Ngayon, mabibilang mo na lang yung mga NGOs, yung mga civil society, no? So what happened, no? Ano yung pinanggalingan ng dynamism, ng strength? Tapos paano siya nag-unravel? Ganon din yung progressive movement, which are basically ideological organizations. Ikatlo, yung mga coalitions na nagsama-sama in rare moments yung iba't ibang mga magkakalaban na mga puwersa, no? If it can be done then, baka pwede pang gawin in the future, no? So yan, tapos panghuli, yung engagement natin outside and inside the state, yung pinabanggit natin kanina, yung Gramscian war of motion and war of position. Some of us entered government. Ano yung lessons? Some of us stayed outside. Some of us walked on 2 legs. 1 leg outside, 1 leg inside. Ano yung mga karanasan dyan, no? Kilala ko pa yung mga tao na yung mga main actors dyan. So bago sila mawala, baka pwedeng kausapin, no? Baka merong sila yung mga key informants. Pero kailangan may magsusulat na mas bata, mas magaling magsulat. Dahil kami kasi kinalawang na kami, para na kami BRP Sierra Madre, no? Kinalawang na kami dahil pag hindi ka nagsusulat ng madalas, kakalawangin ka no? Magkakaroon ka ng arthritis. No? Yun yung mangyayari, no? Kaya ngayon, dahan-dahan, bumabalik ako, dahan-dahan ay nagsusulat, pero mas conversational, Taglish, no?
But,
Taglish.
yung parang ginagawa natin, R&R style, R&R rated. Oo.
Yan, yan, no?
Benta yan, totoo. Tagalog lang ang Filipino, trying hard, lalo yung mga conyotics na katulad ko. I have a question, Ronald. Sabihin natin ang kausap mo yung mga konyo, yung mga magaling magsalita, ma-English, medyo may influence, medyo may mga following. Ano yung advice mo sa ganyan tao na sabihin, I don't want to go there on the ground, it's so mainit or like, I will look out of place yung mga ganyan. Like, anong mungkahi mo, advice mo sa mga ganyan, mga walang hiyang?
Well, nung last September 21, in-interview ako sa Tiger TV sa University of Santo Tomas, anniversary ng martial law. Ang tema, the first student council in the university belt, probably in the whole Philippines during martial law. Yun yung tinayo namin noong 1979. So in-interview ako tsaka yung aking vice president. No? Isa doon sa mga napag-usapan ay yung experience ko dahil hindi ko alam, nung naging president ako student council, I don't even know what a quorum is. No? Dahil martial law babies kayo hindi nyo alam yung mga pinag-uusapan. Pero we were able to learn fast, reinvent student activism, student power, no? At nung naging head ako ng journalism society, we were 3 guys in the course. Most of them are women, and most of them are beauty queens, no? Arlene Glinoga, classmate ko, ay mutya ng Pilipinas, no? Si Joji Upano, Miss Quezon City, Melda Dominguez, cover girl ng mod. So mga kanya mga sosyal, no? At dinala ko sila sa Barrio Magsaysay, sa Tondo, sa Smoky Mountain, no? Dinala ko sila sa Tatalon, no? Dinala ko sila sa Bangkulasi, sa Nabotas, no? Yung talagang no? Talagang dagat ng basura, puro putik, puro waste, no? Nandun. Dinala ko to mga naka-high heels, mga beauty queens sa journalism course ko, no? Doon sa you have to start somewhere, no? Yung iba sa kanila talagang nayanig, no? Nayanig from their isolation, no? At eventually naging aktivista. Yung iba hindi na bumalik, no? Talaga namang may casualties diyan no? Doon sa pero kailangan mo silang i-shake, kailangan mo i-disrupt yung kanilang normal, no? Normal lives, no? Kailangan mong no? Siyempre, pag dinisrupt mo yan, merong mawawala, may magpapatuloy, may casualties talaga. Pero ako, nung panahon na yon, ang aking style is disruptive. Ngayon, sa panahon natin, tingin ko mahalaga pa rin ang disruption. No? Yan yung strength ng mga populists They disrupt to be noticed. They disrupt, no? Pero meron silang data analytics. No? Halimbawa, sa US, pinag-aralan nila Trump yung loneliness ng middle-aged men. No, pinag-aralan nila yung loneliness, yung cynicism ng mga elder men, no? Elder white men, no? At weaponize nila. So yun yung pwedeng interaction ng social media at saka yung organizing, no? Mahalaga yung data analytics.
Yeah, so essentially you're saying social media is good for crowdsourcing the data, mapping out, no? Yung political.
Yeah.
Pero wag
mo ginawa nila Obama. No? Community organizing and big data, no? Yung ganung interplay. Big data, doon ko unang narinig ang big data noong 2008, no? At tapos ang background ni Obama is community organizing sa Chicago. No?
And then you had David Axelrod, talaga yung mga super communication.
Yeah.
I mean,
tapos Saul Alinsky ang idol ni Obama. Yun din ang aming idol. No, when we were young, we were reading all the books of Saul Alinsky in terms of community organizing. So, pero may bago kang technology, meron kang data analytics, no, etc. Gamitin. Huwag mong itapon, no? Huwag mo itapon, no? Don't throw the baby with the bathwater, no? Kunin mo yung lessons.
Yeah, yun nga. Again, sorry, Ronald, I'm pushing you on this because there's a lot of nonsensical idea there that, oh, technology, it will supplant for everything, right? Again, you can tweet a revolution. That the whole nonsense. Again, I know this because I analyzed the biggest revolutions of the past 20 decades, which is like 10 countries under revolutionary conditions. It really doesn't work. I'm sorry. Maybe on first day, major the reaction forces will go back there, but they're gonna come back stronger. But you're absolutely right about this. Now, about this issue of, I mean, because you also came from relatively comfortable background, diba? And I probably meant guilt or petty bourgeois guilt, which is what explains, George Orwell and all sorts of people from middle class background that became progressives. Now, but going back to this, siguro last part dito sa episode natin, because I'm sure balik-balikan natin ito. How do we make full spectrum activism, no? It's online and offline, right? On the ground and overground. Pressure from outside, reform from inside, pressure from below. How do we make it sexy? Speaking of R&R rated, like, kasi obviously sa panahon mo sexy siya in a way na literally, attractive people from privileged background are interested, di ba? Kasi martial law yun, di ba? So there's a defiance, youth rebellion aspect to it. Kasi Ronald, it's more like parang everyone is being zombified with all of this commercial. I mean, again, I with all my training in studying capitalism and Gramsci, napapadala din ako sa mga latest nonsense. What's the latest Adidas? ChatGPT and all. So how do we make this sexy for the 21st century? Again, we mean it in a completely non-sexist way. We mean it how to make it cool, how to make it. Kasi feeling kulang sa position nung last episode. No offense, cool factor. Kulang sa cool factor. Kasi si BBM mukhang BTS pa siya dun sa TikTok niya. For people like us, talagang may cool factor si BBM. Pwede niya pagtawanan si BBM. But he look cool. Diba? And si vote niya 67%, di ba? Yung mga nakita natin sa Polls Asia. We don't have exit polls, but based on the numbers here, we're looking at Gen Z as the biggest winnie. So cool factor. How do we get that cool factor?
Richard, mahabang usapan yan. Pero initially, halimbawa,
some sort of a teaser for a future episode.
Yeah. Halimbawa, initially, Richard, yung IT guy ko isang millennial. No, siya yung nagtuturo sa akin everything about IT, about the virtual world, about the multiverse, no, about social media. Siya nagtuturo sa akin, no, yung mga metrics na ginagamit, hindi ko na yung maunawaan, no. Yung tool sa data analytics, hindi ko na yung maunawaan. Hingi na lang ako sa kanya ng summary, no. Pero this millennial, no, ay importante sa akin, no, dahil merong constituency yan eh. May constituency. At ang kanyang request, no, content, no, they will develop the content pero they cannot create it. Yun yung karanasan namin, the content, no. Nagdebate kami diyan ni Maria Ressa 2 months ago no. Sinasabi nila ay kailangan i-regulate ang big tech, no. Kailangan ayusin ang content management, etc. Ang sabi ko sa kanila, it's more than that. No, it's more than that, no. Yun yung
just the first level. It's just the first level.
Yeah. Pero alam mo ba, itong tao ko nito, yun yung kanyang request sa aming generation, no? Kailangan nila ng content na gagamitin nila in TikTok, gagamitin nila in Twitter or X, no? Gagamitin nila yung form ng social media, yung technology gagamitin nila, pero kailangan nila yung pinakamahalaga sa kanila ngayon is the content, no? Alam nila na ang absorptive capacity ng karaniwang tao is at most, no, 1 to 2 minutes, no? Yung iba nga 30 seconds and they will change the channel. So you have to catch their attention in a few seconds. You have to disrupt their lives, no, para makuha mo sila. At yun yung ginawa ng Cambridge Analytica, yung mga kaibigan mo. Yun ang ginawa nila. Yun yung ginawa. So dapat gawin natin according to our terms, di ba? We also have to weaponize technology according to our own revolutionary goals, no? To our own revolutionary goals. No? Sabi nga ni Maria Ressa, We cannot be the monsters we are trying to destroy. I agree, no? Pero may mga tactical moments na you have to use the weapons. You have to use the strategies of the enemy against themselves. And it's not creating monsters, no? It's not about creating monsters, no? Yun yung pero yan, that will be a long running debate ko with the Rappler, at tawag ko sa kanila Rappler witches. Dahil puro babae yung kanilang mga editors. So, yan yung mga kaibigan ko yan mga recruit ko yan sa college. No?
They're definitely fantastic people. But yun nga, yung disagreement ko kasi is I think there's a lot of focus on supply side, which is what big tech companies do. There's not much focus on the demand side. Why are people fall for nonsense? Why are they emotionally vulnerable? And I think that's where kulang talaga sa self-awareness. I see that with a lot of liberals in the Philippines. Kulang talaga sa self-awareness about saan tayo nagkukulang. No, progressives, liberals, and let's be honest, we progressives sometimes are not eye to eye also with the liberals. But as things stand, we're kind of all in the same camp of democracy, pro-democracy camp. I'm not partisan, but I'm for democracy. And I'm not ashamed of that. 100% I'm for democracy. I don't care if some of the corporate people are not comfortable with it. Bahala kayo sa buhay nyo.
Ang modification ko lang to sa sinasabi mo, Richard, I'm also for democracy. But in the transition, you need a strong leader. A strong activist leader, no? Para sa transition, no? Para yung strengths ng democracy ay mag-benefit yung mga nakararami. Yun ang failures ng liberal democracy, di ba? Hindi mo naman nabago yung judicial system. Hindi mo nabago yung economic system. So we need, lalo sa Pilipinas, we need a strong visionary leader, but strong, no? We need a strong government in the transition. Eventually, magte-taper off yan, no? Hindi ko sinasabi na undemocratic. Within the framework of democracy, you need that. Lalo na sa isang bansa na ang hirap tawagin na nation because of too many warlords, too many dynasties, no? Too many recidivist elements, too many cartels, no? We cannot be a nation with all these recidivist conservative elements. So sa transition, kinakailangan mo ng strong leader.
Which goes back, Ronald, to what I said, di ba? The charisma. For Waxmever, you can embed your charisma into institution. How Peter Gray charisma behind building a strong military, strong state.
Yes.
Strong. So yun ang problema natin. Our strongmen, once they're there, sarili lang nilang inatupag nila yung mga email style, tatay style lifestyle, instead of really focusing and strengthening the state, no? Or bara-bara.
Dapat lagay natin ng chip sa utak, no? Pag lumampas dun sa borders ng corruption, biglang manginginig, no? Ilalagyan ng chip yung mga kwan, no? Dapat yun doon pwedeng gamitin ng technology, no? Pag naging right wing yung kwan, pag gusto mag-dictatorship, biglang sasapo, boom, no?
Yan mga Isaac Asimov na mga
sci-fi guy, no?
It's coming. Lapit na tayo, papunta na
tayo. Dune are the best novels sa science fiction. Dune, it's ideological, it's political, it's psychological, no? Ako Dune, I'm a Dune fan, no? I'm a Dune fan, no? Dune and the destiny of all concentrated power is fragmentation. Sabi ng Dune Messiah, no?
I'm looking forward to the second installation.
Part 2 sa HBO Go.
Maraming salamat, Sir Ronald. I know you're super tired. I know that you and your fellow UST friend, Christian, is a lot of interest. I made your time worth it, no?
lalo na kung may kasamang leather jacket siyang pa na yan. No? Dami kong leather jacket, di ko alam kung ano gagawin eh. No? Pero sa ukay, ang daming leather jacket, murang-mura. Ipapa-dry clean mo lang, ang ganda na. No? Oh, pag yung mga ukay na leather jacket, ang gaganda. Tapos hindi sila sira. No? I-dry clean mo lang, magkano yung dry cleaning? 150 pesos. It's almost new. Kaya hindi ko na alam anong gagawin ko sa leather jackets ko. No? Pero buti na lang, ikaw talagang malakas ang loob mo na magsuot ng leather jacket.
Yeah. Kasi may ngayon lang kasi mag-aircon pag
basta yun yung gagawa tayo ng rated X, no? R&R, no? the bestseller books, no? the love and lives of Richard Haydarian, no? No?
Lamentations. Then,
Pero maganda yung pinag-uusapan natin. Yun lang, kailangan dyan ng a longer period para pag-usapan. Dahil maraming angles, no? Maraming variables at play pag pinag-usapan natin yung organizing, no? It's not very simple. Hindi siya yung social media revolution ng mga kaibigan mo, no? Na lahat ni-reduce sa social media, no? You can launch a revolution, no? Arab Spring, no? Etc.
yun nga it's like revolution for a short attention span. Like, thank you so much, Ron. I really appreciate it. As always, by the end of our episodes, there are more questions and there are more projects in mind. So that's a good sign. That just means na ang dami pa natin kailangan pag-usapan. But obviously, I'm not gonna abuse you. Marami ka nang sinisingil as of now. Ako bago na kita ma-afford. Pero
napaka-cheapipay ko. I'm so cheap. Basta nag-enjoy hindi lang tayong dalawa, R&R, kundi yung ating audience, especially the trolls, no? Yung baka tumahimik na sila sa pagtotroll dahil natatawa na rin sila sa pinag-uusapan natin. Di ba?
Aming mga message is held for review. Message is held for review. Ibig sabihin, puro mga minumura yata tayo matos. Live sense. Ito na, R&R. Gawa na tayo ng logo natin. Malapit na, papunta na tayo dyan.
parang doon kay Christian kagabi, may nagbabumalat sa akin, no? Ano bang credibility ng si Ronald LIamas? No? Doon nagtapos yung show. Ano bang credibility? Sabi ko, salamat, tuwan-tuwa ako, masarap ang tulog ko.
Basta, malapit, magkaka-TV show na rin tayo. The ratings are going. Maraming salamat. Nagpapa-shoutout ng mga ka-R&Rs natin. Marami tayong mga spontaneous support na to. So, weekend is coming. Of course, Sabbath day tomorrow. Medyo strict ako sa Sabbath day ko. Digital Sabbath. I'm out of the system.
Talaga?
Right? Even 6-7 days a week, day a week, parang crazy. You have to. So take care of yourself also, Ronald. Hopefully you'll have 30 more years of productive year kasi marami pa tayong mga R&R na kailangan gawin. Kulang ang 10-15 years.
Yun yung sinasabi ng mga anak ko eh. Papa, ano kaya ang itsura mo pag 80 years old ka na? Siguro ikaw yung creme ala creme ng mga assholes, no? Dahil ngayon bata pa lang daw ako, asshole na ako. Lalo na pag tumanda daw ako, no? Hindi nila ma-imagine, no? Pag ako ay 80.
Sabi mo sa mga social mong anak, pa-stem cell ka na lang nila.
Hindi, magpapa-clone.
Wag na!
Tatago ko yung aking genes sa kwanta. In the not so distant future, magkakaroon ng mga several Ronald.
You know. I think one is enough, pero sige, just
kahit dalawa pwede na.
Ayaw mo talaga mag-goodbye sa akin, ha? Talagang
goodbye. Goodbye.
Once they're out, no? Have a good week.
See you next week.
Yes, ingat.